All right, let's kick things off, shall we? We're diving deep into the world of European football today, and we've got a ton of interesting stuff to cover, really. I mean, we've got transfer sagas, tactical breakdowns, even some pretty passionate fan reactions from, well, everywhere, really.
You know what I find fascinating is how how these individual stories like the Alphonso Davies situation really they kind of reveal these larger trends, these shifts that are happening in the sport, you know.
Right, right, yeah. I mean, Bayern Munich just snatched Davies right out from under Real Madrid's nose with
Yeah.
that last-minute contract renewal.
Yeah.
That had to hurt, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it definitely throws a wrench in their plans, that's for sure. And you know, you got to remember they missed out on Lloris as well, right? Who was their top defensive target. So this leaves that left back position looking, well, pretty exposed, especially with Mendy not exactly having the best season, you know. But the Davies situation, I think it points to something bigger, something more fundamental. It's about players, players having more power than ever before.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just about which team comes in with the biggest offer anymore.
Exactly. It's about the players' own ambitions, their strategies, their long-term vision. Really, they're leveraging free agency, and those tempting offers from, say, the Saudi clubs to really, to get what they want.
So it's a whole new ballgame then.
I mean, in a way, yeah, it puts clubs like Real Madrid in a tough spot, right?
Yeah.
They need to adapt, be more proactive. Take Miguel Gutierrez, for instance.
Oh,
Former Real Madrid player doing really well, thriving actually, but they've got a buyback clause, right? So it's a less obvious solution, but it could be a smart one, given how the market is right now.
that's a name I haven't heard in a while. See, this is why I love doing these deep dives. You uncover these hidden gems, these little nuggets of of insight. But okay, stepping back for a second, what does this all mean for the average fan, for someone who's keeping up with all the football news? What does this Davies situation tell us? I mean, it seems like these negotiations, they're just getting more and more, complex, right? More unpredictable.
Oh, absolutely. And player agents, well, they're practically calling the shots now, and clubs are, well, they're trying to keep up, but it's tough.
Yeah, for sure. And if we shift gears a little bit, move from defense to midfield. I mean, we see another great example of this, right? The whole Tchouaméni situation.
Yeah.
The $1 million question, right? Is he Real Madrid's midfield maestro of the future, or is he just kind of stuck? There's definitely some debate going on out there.
Well, I mean, Germany's talented. Nobody's denying that, right? But his development, I think it's hit a bit of a snag. Now, part of it, I think, could be the tactical setup at Real Madrid, or maybe the lack of it. Some might argue. I mean, Kroos and Modric, they're legends, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But their age is starting to show, and that puts a lot of pressure on the younger players, right? To fill the gaps, and that's not always easy.
And then on top of all that, you add Bellingham into the mix.
Exactly.
I mean, that's got to shake things up, right? So, I mean, does this help Tchouaméni, rise to the occasion?
Right.
Or does it just create even more competition, more pressure? And what about Ancelotti? Is he even the right manager to get the best out of Tchouaméni?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
is he on his way to greatness, or is this the start of something? A cautionary tale. The next few seasons are going to be they're going to be crucial. But this whole situation, it kind of reminds me of the Davies thing. It makes you think. How
Yeah.
much impact does a team's structure, the manager's style, even have on a young player's development? It's something to think about.
It's like this delicate ecosystem, right? You make one wrong move and the whole thing could fall apart. And speaking of players who might be feeling a bit off balance, what about Marco Asensio? I mean, he's gone from fan favorite to practically a ghost at the Bernabeu. I mean, it's almost funny how quickly things can change,
Yeah, Asensio's story it's really interesting because it's not just about talent, It's about economics, about opportunity, about timing, really. They bring in any striker, and suddenly he's pushed further down the pecking order, right? And that big salary he's got, it makes him hard to move, hard to offload. There were those Aston Villa rumors a while back, but it seems like that's not happening.
Aston Villa. Wow, that would have been That would have been a wild one.
Well, the interesting thing about that is, Monchi, right? Aston Villa's director of football. He's got this reputation for spotting talent, for seeing potential where others don't. So he might have seen something in Asensio, something special. But regardless, this whole situation it begs the question, right? What happens when a player's talent it doesn't quite fit the club's needs or the financial realities, right? Is it better to hold on,
Yeah.
to to hope for a turnaround, or is it better to cut your losses and get a fresh start somewhere else?
Man, that's a tough one, especially for a player who's tasted success like Asensio. But hey, that's what makes football so captivating, right?
Yeah, it's a high stakes game, no doubt about it. But while these transfer stories are making all the headlines, there's other stuff happening. I mean, there's some compelling stuff playing out on the pitch itself. So maybe we should talk about tactics for a bit. Specifically Ancelotti's 4-3-3 formation. It's like his old reliable.
Classic Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Sticking to what he knows, right? But is that really what's best for Real Madrid right now? Especially with all this young talent, just waiting for a chance. I mean, we saw flashes from Endrick and Güler in those last few matches, but they're barely getting any real playing time.
Well, that's where the pressure cooker of Real Madrid really comes in, right? Every match is a must win. So experimenting with young players, it can feel like a gamble, But the question is Ancelotti, is he being too cautious? Is he prioritizing those immediate results over the long term,
Yeah.
over the development of these players, or maybe he's using them strategically, bring them in for specific situations, nurturing their talent without throwing them to the wolves, so to speak. It's a question that's it divides the fans, even the most diehard Madridistas.
Right. It's like he's trying to solve this complex equation, right?
Yeah.
Balancing the needs of the team with the development of these individual players, but sometimes you gotta shake things up a bit,
Yeah.
see what happens.
Exactly, and that's where the tactical details of the 4-3-3 really come into play. It's a formation that relies on experienced players, guys who understand their roles instinctively, and that might be why Ancelotti prefers those veterans. They fit the system that he's comfortable with.
So you're saying the system dictates the players, not the other way around. That's an interesting way to think about it. But what about the future? The long-term implications. Is this approach actually hindering the development of players like Endrick, who really thrive in a more free-flowing attacking style?
Well, that's the debate, isn't it? Is Ancelotti stifling their creativity, or
Yeah.
is he strategically molding them?
Yeah.
Shaping them into well-rounded players who can adapt to any system. I mean, only time will tell, right? But it raises an important question, for someone like you, for anyone who's following the game closely. How much does a manager's tactical philosophy really impact the development of these young players? It's something to think about, as you watch these players as they progress, as their careers unfold.
It's almost like a chess match.
Yeah.
Ancelotti's making these calculated moves, trying to outmaneuver his opponents, but at the same time, he's also developing his pieces, for the long game.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And speaking of chess matches, maybe we should shift our focus to the Premier League for a moment. Guardiola's Manchester City, they're a completely different beast, right? They're weathering those potential sanctions. They're making these bold moves like Haaland's contract extension.
Yeah, that was a statement, wasn't it? I mean, it was like they were saying, "Hey, we're here to stay, and we're gonna keep dominating no matter what."
It was a masterstroke, really, for both sides. For Haaland, it's security, right? It's a platform to build his legacy, and for City, it's a declaration of ambition. It's a signal to their rivals that they're building a dynasty.
It's like they're playing a completely different game.
Yeah.
Operating on a level that most clubs can only dream of.
And yet, even with all their resources, Manchester City, they face the same dilemma as Real Madrid. How to balance that immediate success with with long-term sustainability. I mean, Guardiola, he's known for being ruthless, right? His willingness to let go of players, even star players, if they don't fit his vision.
So even in a club like that, a club that seems to be overflowing with talent,
Yeah.
there's still that pressure, right, to evolve, to adapt.
Absolutely. I mean, nobody's safe. Not even the biggest names. And it makes you think about Mbappé, right? About his situation. Both Haaland and Mbappé, they've shown that they understand the business, just as well as they understand the game. They're not just players anymore. They're brands. They're shaping the future of the future of football on their own terms.
It's like we're witnessing the rise of this new generation of footballers, players who understand the business side of things just as well as the game itself. And it's fascinating to see how clubs are responding to this shift in power.
It's a power struggle, no doubt. But maybe you should zoom out for a second, and think about the bigger picture. I mean, it's this trend, right? This trend of player empowerment, these huge contracts. Is it good for the sport? Does it actually create a more competitive landscape, or does it just does it widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots? These are the kinds of questions that real football enthusiasts, people like yourself, I mean, these are the questions you guys gotta grapple with as we enter this new era.
It's definitely a lot to think about, but that's what makes these deep dives so valuable, right? We're not just scratching the surface here. We're digging deep, Yeah. We're getting to the heart of the matter. We're uncovering the stories behind the headlines.
And sometimes it's those little details, right? Those anecdotes, those observations that really bring the bigger picture into focus. So so maybe we should dive into some of those. I think you'll find them quite interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all ears.
It really is. It's the little things sometimes, like that Copa del Rey match. Remember Real Madrid and Celta Vigo?
Oh yeah.
On paper, I mean, it looked like an easy win for Real, but man, it turned into it was a real nail biter.
Total roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had that comfortable lead, 2-0, and then bam, sudden death, extra time. It was like watching two different matches. And Endrick, man, he really stole the show with those late goals.
It was, I mean, that match, it was like a perfect example, of what makes football so great. You can analyze the tactics, the stats, all that stuff, but sometimes it just comes down to heart, to that grit, those moments of brilliance you can't predict. And those moments, they remind us why we love this sport.
Absolutely. It's that element of surprise, right? That feeling that anything can happen. That's what keeps us, on the edge of our seats. And speaking of surprises, I mean, the transfer market, it never disappoints, right? There's always some drama going on.
Oh yeah, this season it's been wild. I mean, they're just throwing money around left and right. Players are playing hardball. Agents are, they're working those back rooms. It's like a soap opera.
And right at the center of it all, you've got this debate about player power, right? Are players, are they taking too much control, or are they finally getting what they deserve, especially in a multi-billion-dollar industry like this?
Yeah, it's complicated, no doubt about it. But for someone like you, for anyone who really loves the sport, it's worth thinking about both sides of the argument. I mean, are these mega deals? Are they good for the game in the long run, or are they creating a system where only a handful of players and clubs can really succeed?
Yeah, it's a question that's not going away anytime soon, that's for sure. But as we wrap things up here, I think it's important to remember one thing. I mean, amidst all the money, the tactics, the drama, football, at its heart, it's still a game.
Right. It's about the love of the sport, the thrill of the competition, and those moments, those moments of magic that just transcend everything else.
It's about the fans, You know, the fans who create that incredible atmosphere, the players who leave everything out there on the pitch, and the stories, right? The stories that we'll be talking about for years to come.
Exactly. So as you continue to follow all the twists and turns this season, remember to just enjoy those moments. You know, the big ones, the small ones, all of them. Those moments that make football so captivating.
Because that's what it's all about. Hello, if you are listening to this, you may not be subscribed to the channel. Activate the bell so that you will be notified when there is a new story, and share it with the people you want. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.